So I squeezed the card holder and consequently snapped my card in half. I was not happy. Hey sailors, welcome back to Cruising as Crew. My name is Lucy and today we are going to be going through some money tips for when you are on board your cruise ship. But before we start, please press like and subscribe for more cruise ship content, and if you have any video suggestions or questions, you know what to do. Leave them in the comments down below, or you can DM me over on Instagram at Cruising as Crew. But as for now, let's get into the video. The first money tip for when you are on board your cruise ship is do not link your debit card to your CPass. So when you get on board, you're going to be given a little ID card which identifies you as a crew member on that specific cruise ship. This is also how you are going to pay for stuff on the cruise ship, whether it's a spa appointment, a haircut, if you go out for a meal, if you go to the cruise shop and you want to buy some sweets. And there's two ways that you can load money onto this card. You can either link your debit card to this card, so when you swipe your crew ID card, it just comes directly out of your bank, or you can do a top-up system where every month you put, I don't know, $200 on your card, which is, that $200 is a bit excessive, but I'm just using it as an example, and you spend it until it runs out, and then when it runs out, you'll put another $200 or $100 on your crew card. I would recommend doing the top-up system. I have done both and I found that I spent a hell of a lot more money when I linked my debit card to the CPass, because it's a lot more difficult to budget. Whereas if at the start of the month you say to yourself, right, I'm only going to allow myself to spend $100, $150, $200 this month, you can put that on at the beginning of the month and know that that has to last you to the end. And if it doesn't last you to the end, well, that's tough luck. You're not going to crew bar, you can't buy any more sweets, and you can't go out for dinner until the next month. However, when it's linked to your debit card, it's just an endless pot of money. I'm not very good at checking my statements, whether that's my bank statements or my crew Laminex statements. But when I did check my statements after linking my card to them, I was like, I don't even know what this $2 here was for, or $3 there, or $5 there, because I found that the cruise ships I've been on have a really weird way of doing your statements. So it's really, basically, it's really difficult to understand what you've actually spent your money on. Now, I don't think for a minute that they were saying I'd spent more than I had. However, I don't like not being able to see what I've spent. So for that reason, it's just a lot easier if you do the top-up system. Now, this is if you are trying to save money. Obviously, if you don't care how much you spend, then by all means, link your debit card to your Laminex. You will spend it like water. However, if you're a little bit more conscientious and you do want to go home with some savings, then I would definitely use the top-up method. Because whilst everyone says, oh, you're a crew member, you don't pay for rent, you don't pay for food, you don't pay for this, like you have no expenses. It's true. However, there are things you will buy. You're going to go to the crew bar and you're going to have a drink. Maybe you'll buy a packet of crisps for the table. Maybe someone's going to say, let's go out for dinner. So you're going to go out for dinner. Maybe you're going to go to the shops and treat yourself to a bottle of perfume. There are definitely things that you can spend your money on board. So going on board with the outlook of, I'm not going to spend anything, is really unrealistic. So I would recommend budgeting, and it's a lot easier to budget when you use the top-up method. So when you go to crew office and they ask you, do you want to link your card to your Laminex, say no. Before you join your cruise ship, get a prepaid card. So Monzo, Starling and Revolut, those are the three that I can think of. Obviously there's loads more, but the benefits of these are they all offer free transactions abroad. So if you go out in port and you want to withdraw some money because maybe there's a market and you need cash, it's free transactions. However, if you use your Halifax debit card to withdraw money, you are going to get hammered on the withdrawal fee. So just for that reason alone, it's worth having a prepaid card like Starling or Monzo. Another reason, going back to budgeting and saving, all of these come with an app, so it's really easy to see what you've spent and what you've got saved, and also you're going to get notifications every time you spend something, so it's really easy to see what's coming in and what's going out. Because you're going to different places every day, one place you might be in Spain, so they use euros, the next day you might be in Croatia, so they use kuna, next day you might be in the the UK, they use pounds. So every day you could be somewhere where they use a different currency. So it gets really annoying if you've just got all of this cash in loads of different currencies. So if you have one of these prepaid cards, you can just withdraw the money that you need. And then it's also really, really good to have one of these cards as a backup. So as I have mentioned in previous videos, if you lose or break your debit card or credit card, whatever, it's an absolute nightmare to get a replacement sent to the cruise ship. It's not so bad if your cruise ship is going around the same place. Let's say you're doing just loads of Caribbean cruises. However, if you're on a world cruise, don't even think about it. You have then not got a debit card for the rest of your contract, because it is an absolute nightmare getting it sent to a moving vessel. Because when you order your new card and they say, where shall we send it? You're like, I don't know, because I don't know how long it's going to take for you to send the card, and I don't know where I'm going to be on the day that the card is going to get here. And like when I was on Virgin and we were in Italy, I was trying to get my debit card out of one of those card holders, and it was a really tight one, so I squeezed the card holder and consequently snapped my card in half. I was not happy, but luckily I had a prepaid card as a backup, so I had a way of withdrawing money and spending money. If I hadn't had a prepaid card, I would have been pretty screwed. So if you do have a prepaid card and your debit card gets stolen, or it gets lost or eaten in a cash machine, or you snap it in half like I did, then you don't need to panic, because you have another way of spending your money, because you can use online banking with your debit card to transfer the money to your prepaid card and spend the money that way. And I would actually recommend having two. I have Starling and a Revolut card, because I'm like, well, if shit really hits the fan and I break my debit card and I break my Starling or Revolut card, then at least I have a card. So I would definitely recommend having some kind of backup card. Always keep your receipts. So when you get a job with a cruise line, obviously you need to get visas, medicals, seaman's books. There's a lot of things that you need to get, and the cruise line will either pay for it, or they will say you pay for it and we will pay you back when you get on board. If this is the case, which quite often it is, you need to make sure that you keep your receipts, because the cruise line is not going to reimburse you unless you can prove that you spent the money on it. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've spoke to crew members and they've said I didn't bring or I didn't keep my receipt from the medical or the flight, so therefore the cruise line is not going to reimburse you. So if you purchase something that you needed to purchase to get on board the cruise ship, make sure you keep the receipt. And if they don't give you a receipt, make sure you make them give you a receipt. For example, in the morning of joining a cruise ship, when you get a taxi from your hotel to the cruise ship terminal, get the taxi driver to give you a receipt, because more often than not, the cruise line will reimburse you for that taxi journey, but not if you didn't get a receipt. Same with your medical, same with your seaman's book, same with your visa. Every cruise line and agency has different requirements, so definitely message them and ask them what they will reimburse when you get on board. But whatever they tell you they'll reimburse, please keep the receipts. Exchanging money. Now obviously I've just given you the card solution, because that means that you don't have to exchange money as often. However, if you know that you are going to need cash for whatever you're doing in the port and you do need to exchange money, don't always exchange money on the ship. And for those of you who don't know, you can exchange money on the ship. The crew office and reception of a cruise ship, they will usually exchange money for passengers and crew. However, the cruise ships don't always have the best exchange rates. So if you have time to shop around for money exchange places, then do so, because you might find that you'll get a better exchange rate outside rather than on the ship. And I know I've just had the whole spiel about how you should get a card because it saves getting cash out and all of that, but I would recommend always having a little bit of cash, especially when you first go on board a cruise ship, because firstly, if you want to put money on your Laminex, as we discussed, and you want to top up and you don't want to link your bank card, you are going to need cash to top that up. Also, there's the option of buying a phone card. So let's say you don't want to buy a Wi-Fi package, but you do want to call home. You can buy a phone card, which means that you can use the ship's phone to call your mom or your girlfriend. But to use the phone card, quite often the machine requires cash, so you need like $10 in cash or £10 in cash. If you need to tip someone, you know, if you get a laundry service or you have a cleaner for your cabin, then you know, you need cash to tip them. So I would just always have a little bit of cash on you in whatever currency that cruise ship uses. So if you're on P&O UK, you want to take pounds. If you're going on a Royal Caribbean ship, you want to take maybe $100 worth, £100 worth P&O UK. So always take a little bit of cash on board with you in the currency of the cruise ship. And then the last tip for crew members, a big outgoing is Wi-Fi packages on board. This is why I'm so happy that Virgin offers free Wi-Fi. But anyway, the majority of ships don't, and you have to buy Wi-Fi. However, sometimes a cheaper option can be getting a SIM card with, I don't know, 50 gigs of data and paying a monthly fee for that. Now, you can only do this obviously if your phone is unlocked and if the cruise ship is going around the same place for a while. So like I got a SIM card when we were in Alaska because we were in Alaska for 3 months. There's no point getting an American SIM card if you're going to be in America for a month and then you're going to go to Australia. So you get the gist. But if you know that for the majority of your contract you are going to be in this one area, then it can sometimes be worth getting a SIM card, because with a SIM card you'll get a certain amount of calls, a certain amount of data, and that can work out a lot cheaper than using the cruise ship Wi-Fi to make your calls and do your internet surfing. So getting a local SIM card is definitely something to look into when you get on board. But anyway guys, I really hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you have enjoyed the money tips and you find them helpful. If you have, please let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions or video suggestions, you can DM me over on Instagram at Cruising as Crew. But I hope you have a fantastic day and I will see you in the next video guys. Bye!